think I might have a bit of a yarn problem. So I recently moved into a new place and got an opportunity which I have never had before, which is my very own sewing, crafting, whatever I need it to be kind of room. For brevity's sake, we're just going to call it my creative space from here on out. Now, this room also is going to double as a guest bedroom for the rare occasions when we have people visiting, so it does need to be somewhat multi-purpose, but 99.9% of the time, this is just going to be my space where I can leave my projects out when I'm working on them. I don't have to worry about cleaning up to accommodate other people in the household. So this is my room, although if my dog had his way, it would be his room 100% of the time. Now, I always love to see how other people organize their spaces, especially craft rooms, because I am nosy like that. And if you clicked on this video, I'm gonna guess that you are too. So welcome to Stitch and Fiction, where today I'm gonna show you how I unpacked and organized my creative space. After everything was moved into the new location, a few facts became painfully clear. I have a lot of stuff, and this is not a very big room. I have several creative hobbies, which means I have several different stashes, and the largest is my yarn collection. I anticipated that one was going to take up the most space and would also be the one I used most often, so I decided to start there and work everything else around it. Before I moved, I was keeping my yarn in drawers and a few plastic bins, which works fine as far as storage goes. However, this recent move has taught me a lot about myself. I've discovered that I'm an out of sight, out of mind kind of person when it comes to my craft supplies. If my entire stash is not shoved in my face every time I go looking for materials, I'm gonna forget what I have, and then I buy more. And then when that inevitably gets stashed into some bin in the back of the closet, I forget about that too. And then I buy even more. The end result is that I have way more craft supplies than I need and very little space to store them. After discovering not one, but 4 mystery bins full of yarn that I don't remember purchasing, I decided to take a different approach in this new space. I'm using an old set of bookshelves in the closet to stack my yarn so it's all visible and I know what I have. I originally had visions of those cute Pinterest craft rooms where all the yarn is in nice little balls and makes a cool rainbow ombre effect. This was going sort of well, but then I got to my multicolored yarns and just kind of gave up. I was also not in the mood to deal with the random yarn vomit I kept finding. At this point in the day, I was just shoving things in there to get it over with. At a certain point, I realized that all of my yarn was not going to fit on these bookshelves as intended, so I tried to make the best use of my space by adding more vertical shelving. This came in the form of an old shoe rack and some wire shelves, which I'm pretty sure were designed for bathrooms or kitchens, but they work just fine here. I eventually took a break from the yarn to put away some of my scrapbook paper, as that's probably the second largest stash that I have after the yarn. I was trying to build up with these as well, but then I thought better of it when I realized those cheap plastic drawers were not up to the challenge of having several pounds of paper stacked on them. Much more reasonable. The paper got stacked in random corners instead, which had the benefit of providing more surface areas for me to place other items. So it's the second day. All the big stuff is pretty much where I want it. Most of the drawers and furniture, I think, is in their final spaces. I got the yarn all unpacked, which is not as nice and neat as I had originally imagined it, but at this point I am just kind of over it and wanted to get stuff in place. So I moved some yarn from this bottom shelf up here because I realized I was out of space for the paper, and the paper couldn't go on top of other things because it was too heavy. So I shuffled some of the yarn around, and I'm hoping that's going to work. Got the bookshelf set up. I think I have more books somewhere that are buried somewhere else in the house, so we have to find those and see how much shelf space I have left after those are unpacked. This is my romance novel collection, and that is all of them, so that I do have a little space on the top shelf for like little decorative things and tchotchkes. These drawers here are empty right now. I am planning to put fabric in them, and I'm hoping that my fabric collection will fit in those. And then I have another bigger one over here, which is also mostly empty and is going to have fabric in it. So I have this big honkin' printer, and I have no idea where that's going to go yet. We'll see when we get there. Today's goal is to get all the little stuff, all the little storage boxes ready and put those in the closet. And one of the challenges is going to be sorting things and placing them so that the stuff that I use most often is the most easily accessible, because I don't want to have to go digging through the closet every time I need something. So I'm going to try and save like the back harder to access spaces for stuff that I don't use very much. When I was packing, I just kind of threw stuff in whatever to get it done with and get it moved. And so what I'm gonna have to do today is basically make a mess to make it nice again. I'm just gonna kind of go through all my bins, see what I've got, organize things based on how much I use them, and then kind of repack the closet. So we'll see how it goes. What do you think? Is it a mess in here? Is it a mess in here? Yeah. What's going on? So it is day 3, and I'm completely exhausted. I'm so tired of moving and unpacking, but we're getting there. We made a lot of progress yesterday. Mostly things are in their spaces. We just have a few tiny things that I'm not quite sure where they're gonna go, and a couple things I need to put up on the wall, but I'm gonna wait until my boyfriend is here to help me with that stuff, because he's got some tools that will help with that. But everything else is pretty much good, so we are very, very close. The main things that I need to do today are figure out where to put that printer. I'm pretty sure it's going to go over. It would help if I could shoot the camera. There we go. Pretty sure the printer is going to go over here. We'll see if it fits. My one concern is that since I have the sewing machine back there, if the printer and the sewing machine are going to be too tight. I'm also planning to use my laptop there, but the laptop is very easy to move around. So we'll put it up there. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't fit there, don't know what I'm going to do. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So back to work. So yesterday I was just kind of shoving fabric in drawers just to get it out of the way. These are mostly scraps, so I don't know how much more I can do with that. But down here, this is a hot mess, and I do want to go in and do like nicer, just do it nicer, so that it's a little bit easier to find, because right now some of them are kind of buried, and I just know from the yarn, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and I'm going to forget that I have it and end up buying more. So what I'm going to do eventually is cut some cardboard like slats to wrap this around, so that way everything is nice and uniform, it's visible, and I can see the kind of fabric that I have, so that when I'm looking for stuff for a project, I know exactly what I've got. But that's not a high priority right now. High priority right now is just getting the rest of the room together, and then we'll worry about making the fabric nice and neat later. So that is also on the to-do list still. After all the functional items had found their homes, it was finally time to start decorating. So as you might have guessed from watching the intro, it's all done. I am in my finished, fully unpacked and organized creative space. I ended up putting the printer underneath the desk, which is not ideal. I have kicked it a couple times when I'm sitting at the desk, but that was really the best place for it. It's not taking up valuable surface space that I could use for sewing and other projects and things like that. And it's an old printer that wasn't that great to begin with, so if anything happens to it, I'm not going to be too broken up about it. Now, I can't say that this is like my dream space. I definitely want to invest long-term in some nicer furniture, some more uniform storage solutions, but for right now, where I'm at in my life right now, this is great. I'm just really excited to have a functional space that is completely dedicated to creative projects. I'm really looking forward to doing all the writing, all the sewing, all the crochet, and more YouTube videos like this. If you enjoy sewing, crochet, history bounding, and bookish content, I do have more videos in the works along those lines, so if that sounds like your cup of tea, maybe subscribe and see what I've got coming up in the future. Until then, I really appreciate you spending time with me today. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye. Have a little confession. There was a little bit of space between the wall and the couch that was too tight to put like furniture or tables or anything, so I just kind of stashed some more yarn bags back there.